Konnichiwa, y'all, and welcome to another 10 at 10, this time for August 28th of 2025. Guys, we got a great lineup here for you today.
Yeah, welcome to the MrMaple Show. We appreciate you guys tuning in, man. These are our fun videos. We do these twice a week, 10 at 10s on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's actually 20 plants. I mean, we kind of, fill that gap for you guys and try to provide as many interesting plants as we can every single week. So make sure you sign up for that newsletter. That's going to let you know the full listings. We're going to highlight 10 today on the video, and we're excited to get to it.
Guys, get your horticulture fix in today. We've got some great ones. Let's knock it out with Hogyoku, a classic Japanese maple, been around a while. I absolutely love this one. The perfect accompaniment to Osakazuki. Very similar in its growth, very similar in its color. Where Osakazuki goes to that bold red in the fall, Hogyoku will go to that classic bold orange. One of my favorite orange fall colors. Durable, cold tolerant, fast growing, great tree to be in your landscape.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love that large Aminum style leaf on this. Beautiful, beautiful structure on these as well. Nice size 1 gallons here, man. We're getting some really nice growth this time of the year. I always kind of give people a little insight on that. Ordering in the summer, man, you get that kind of extended growth period. So a lot of these 1 gallons are looking really nice this time of the year. Hogyoku, man, that blazing orange fall color is just phenomenal. I think, when it comes to fall colors, I like a mix of colors. So, you want some reds, you want some oranges, you want some yellows. I think Hogyoku has a place in that collection.
People say in the comments they like it when Brian shows you the top of the tree. See, I was trying to be like Brian and I about dropped it. We about had a discount Hogyoku here for you today. Guys, I love this plant. I can't sing its praises enough. The Mountain Research Center noted in that 07 freeze we had here that this was one of the more durable plants for that freeze. It had some bigger ones in the ground. So great plant for cold tolerance as well. Bold look to it. Really that classic Japanese maple Aminum style leaf. Absolutely love that larger round leaf. Put it out in your landscape. Let it be a showpiece to your garden. Like this one's going to bring the high drama, especially in the fall months, and an easy one to grow.
Hogyoku, pick one up today. All right, guys, next up on the table here, we got Acer palmatum Phantom Flame.
Cool plant, guys. This one has a dark purple border, so you get a bigger border even than with First Ghost on this one. Similarity to First Ghost, but that border really is prominent in the early spring. Kind of a mid-sized tree in that 6 to 8 foot range. Give this one some early morning sun, late day shade for its best colors. It'll help you hold that Tatsumagaki-like border later into the season. Now, it's going to have a reticulated eye to that eventually emerges as the main color of the tree.
Yeah, I like how you kind of related that to like Sumagaki. It's kind of cool to think of having a reticulated type with that border interest, kind of that red fingernail style with the reticulation on it as well. I think so you kind of get best of both worlds there with that. A really interesting, exciting spring interest maple. I always love to see this one leaf out. I want to get my camera out, start taking pictures because it really puts on a show in the spring garden. And I just love that leaf style.
This is a phantom you're going to want enchanting your garden. It brings it. I absolutely love the color. High drama spring interest. Pairs great with a lot of the Ghost series, obviously. Also looks great with Firefly. Really a cool one if you're a reticulated collector, because this one, it's a unique one. Great structure to it. Great in a container while it's young, too. You can kind of pair this with something like a Magi Shiguri would be another fun one to kind of have near this. Great container plant. Then eventually getting into the ground as it gets a little bit larger, but unique and high drama for sure.
Phantom Flame. All right, man, it looks like we got another exciting cultivar here. What do we got now?
Guys, one of the best ever. We've got the Acer shirasawanum Bronze Age. Now I'm a comic book collector. I like the Bronze Age comics, I like the Silver Age comics. Bronze Age, kind of one of the best, though, to be true. Talon would probably say, I didn't know it had anything to do with that Batman BS again, so we won't tell him that. But Hiroku, Talon's wife, says this may be his best cultivar of them all. Now, our wives can be our biggest critics, so that's high praise coming from her.
Absolutely.
Absolutely love this plant. It leaves out in early spring. Yellows in the eye with that bold kind of red, rich color. Kind of goes to more of a bronze midsummer. And then fall colors can be electric yellow. So this one kind of continues just to throw on some dynamic color change every single season.
Yeah, I love you kind of have that hybrid style leaf, that Matsumura style leaf to it. So it gives it a unique texture for a shirasawanum. Typically you're kind of thinking more of that full moon style leaf. But this gives you that kind of more of that elongated lobes, very kind of exaggerated leaf to it. I love that texture that this thing provides. Nice little serration on the edges of this as well. And I think the summer new growth flushes on this are really kind of not talked about as much. Right now I have one in my garden And all of the top branches of that thing is just really putting on some growths, bright reds and pinks out there. So, you look out amongst your garden, you see that color pop on top. You're like, man, this thing's really looking nice. Bronze Age is one of the favorites at the nursery. I think almost everybody there, employee-wise, is always kind of talking about Bronze Age.
Probably the number one purchase plant by MrMaple employees.
I think so, yeah, for sure.
It's up there. Now, this one hits some electric fall colors, too. That's a lot of times when everybody's grabbing them. Really a great plant. Great size 1 gallons right now. Typically, this tree is going to want to be more in that 6 to 8 foot range as well. Give it some protection from the hot afternoon sun, being a shirasawanum. One of my favorite pairings with this is moonrise. So think about pairing this with a moonrise, blue moon.
Oh, man.
Sunny.
Yeah.
Put this next to some of your yellow shirasawanums. You're going to absolutely love the color contrast going on between the two.
Bronze Age.
All right, if you like shirasawanums from Talon Buckholz, there's even another one coming up I know about, so stay tuned for that. There's some special ones that hadn't been around in a while hitting this 10 at 10. So not only are you getting Bronze Age, guys, we're bringing back Acer shirasawanum Green Elf, a little-known Floral Wonder Collection plant. This is the introduction by Talon Buckholz. That is a really exciting shirasawanum, likely one of the hybrids from Jim Baggett. A lot of those ones that Talon was developing early on were Jim Baggett hybrids. He was a breeder at Oregon State. I don't know for sure that this came from Jim Baggett's breeding, but very, very likely. A lot of those had Jim Baggett, then a number with them. Green Elf, exquisite for that smaller shirasawanum style.
Yeah, you're looking at like 5 to 6 feet in 15 years. So smaller tree, so fit in a lot of great spaces in your garden. I'm one that I'm not super familiar with, so it's kind of nice to see this back on a 10 at 10. Get this back out there in production, get it out to your gardens. I really like the leaf on this. Kind of an exaggerated size for a shirasawanum leaf, larger size, nice serrated edges on that as well. And from what I understand, man, some beautiful golden yellows in the fall.
Great fall color on this one. Now, this tree wants to be kind of multi-stemmed. I've got one in the landscape. It tends to put on, not really weeping, but kind of some of those semi-pendulous branches. Tends to be a little bit more rounder than some of the other shirasawanums, which I absolutely love about it. Kind of plays into that Green Elf aesthetic of it being a smaller selection. This one is awesome, though. I've absolutely loved the color. Great contrast with that Bronze Age we were just talking about. So if you like weird Acer shirasawanums, this one's one you got to grab for your collection. It's a great candidate for a container as well. So you can put this in a big pot, kind of let it fill out, be a little bit more of a rounder structure there in a container. Absolutely nice, dwarf, compact Acer shirasawanum. And again, I just love the aesthetics. Acer shirasawanums are among some of my absolute favorites. Bringing back some rare ones here today from Talon Buckholz.
Green Elf.
All right, guys, cue the CCR. It was actually a little further back in the lineup, but we've been hitting rare shirasawanums from Talon Buckholz. And guys, we're bringing back one. It's been a little bit. It's been a few years since we've offered this one. This is Acer shirasawanum X Dissectum Green River. So you can play a little of that Green River riff right there. My mother-in-law's all-time favorite band, CCR. So you got to play the CCR when you get out the Green River.
Yeah, definitely, man. I love this plant, and it's so cool, man. When you get into like lace leaf shirasawanums, you get into kind of a weird world where a lot of those things collide together and create such an amazing cultivar. I love the finely dissected leaf on this. Is really, really nice. The texture is crazy. But when it comes to Talon introductions, I mean, he don't mess around. He went through that diligent process of kind of comparing this to other things out there. Now, this could be potentially a sister seedling from Kauai, correct?
Oh, really cool. Yeah, Jim Baggett originally did the breeding work on this one, the same guy I mentioned in the last one. This one was originally sold as JBK.
Okay.
Now, Talon never confirmed that, but I was growing JBK from Jim Baggett, and I know for a fact growing these side by side, they're the same plant. Great golden yellow fall color. And again, shares a lot of those genetics with Kauai. So this is kind of the green version of a shirasawanum Kauai. Does go to more of a golden yellow in the fall, so it makes a great accompaniment to Kauai as well. I do find Green River to be a little bit more durable than Kauai. I've had one here in the landscape in western North Carolina for many years. Absolutely love this one, guys. It is a lace leaf, but as you put that whole leaf structure together, you can see that rounded full moon leaf. So you kind of see that genetics peeking through there. Really a cool plant. Typically 4 to 5 feet tall, 4 to 5 feet wide. Lovely tree. Kind of gives you some japonicum, shirasawanum vibes on a lace leaf. You get that rounded, more kind of low cascading approach to it. I absolutely love this plant. I mean, it took me a while to track this one down. I got it before the Buckholz purchase, but it was one of those things that I had to kind of go and search of for a while. It didn't just appear for me. So I had to kind of track this one down to get it into production. I think you're going to love Green River. It's a great container plant. Just like the other shirasawanums, you may want to protect it some of your hotter zones from the hotter sun. But man, this is a showstopper.
Man, you guys got to pick one of these up. Green River, get them today. All right, guys, we're bringing the heat on this next one here. We got Acer oliverianum hot blonde.
Love it, guys. You've heard us talk about this. It's my all-time favorite tree. No surprises there. That top 25 came out a little while back. Hot blonde, my favorite Japanese maple. Probably the best tree I'll ever introduce.
Yeah.
Absolutely love this one. Acer oliverianum X palmatum. Fast growing, maybe X shirasawanum. We're not really sure. Got that yellow characteristic on an Acer oliverianum. Super heat tolerant, super durable, super fast growing. And also it brings it for that yellow and pink new growth.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, if you had a greatest hits, you know, this would definitely have to be included on your greatest hits list, because I think it's hard to top it. You know, you think about everything that Hot Blonde does, heat tolerant, great spring color, electric reds in the fall too. I mean, this thing really lights up. I think probably one of the best fall color maples out there.
It's a hot pink red in the fall.
It's crazy, man. And so when you add all of that together, I mean, it's really just a full package deal when it comes to Hot Blonde. I think it's like the perfect tree for just about any landscape out there. You're not having to worry so much about sun location, or, you know, there's so many elements that we all have to kind of keep in mind when we're planting things, and this kind of breaks those rules and breaks those barriers.
I was really surprised when we were in Dallas last year how many people were growing this in Texas with great success in full sun. I've seen it growing in the Battery in Charleston in great success, so it definitely brings it for heat tolerance. A little faster growing even in those hotter climates. So if it's in a sunny spot, expect upwards of 1.5 feet of growth a year. It does fill out quite nicely. Yeah, friends of mine in Holland were texting me this week about this plant. Like, Jim Putnam was over in Holland. He was even talking to some of our friends like, that's a good one. You may want to get on that.
Yeah.
Really a cool plant. I think it's one of the all-time best heat-tolerant maples. So grab you a Hot Blonde today. Some great-looking sizes in this one, guys, and just super easy to grow. Now, we list this one down to zone 6 right now. It may be zone 5 hardy. We're being a little reluctant to call it a full zone 5.
Yeah.
Zone 6 is typically where Acer oliverianum is. We think because of the yellow and the location it was to an Arium, it may be
a little bit of hybrid. Yeah.
Now, when you're breeding maples and you're getting new selections, oftentimes some of those ones that leaf out late, and Sue Eagerf will even tell you this, are good indicators of the more cold-tolerant traits of that tree. And Hot Blonde is one of the last trees to leaf out.
Yeah.
Leaves out for us here even later than Emperor 1, which is saying a lot. And I think maybe that shirasawanum influence is what's creating that later leaf out time. So we may in time go ahead and put this one down to zone 5. I've got a lot of people growing it in zone 5, but for right now, zone 6 through 9, awesome plant for durability though. You're gonna love this one. Takes off, makes an amazing plant. Fall color's awesome. The color display it puts on all seasons awesome. Give it a little bit more sunlight. You'll get more of that bleached out bright yellow in the later summer.
Yeah, if you really push the elements on this, I think it really enhances all of those characteristics that you kind of really grow to love on this. I love how it gets this little like orange border on some of that new growth in the spring, dude. It's just really, really nice, that vibrant color. I mean, I think it's just a perfect tree. You definitely got to get one of these today. Hot Blonde.
Hot Blonde, one of our most talked about introductions, one of our earliest introductions, actually before I was in the nursery industry. My dad got this one grafted around 94. So this one was before. I was still helping him, but I wasn't doing this full time back then. We got Jade Dragon returning for some folks. Now, this is going to be a popular one.
Yeah, I mean, this one right here, man, is so cool. I love, you know, we just talked about today, we did a podcast on what makes a cultivar collectible. Sometimes it's the stories. I love hearing the story about your dad kind of in the beginning of MrMaple as we know it now. It was Nichols Nursery back then. But, you know, one of those trees that stood out to him enough where he's like, hey, you know, I need to get this in production, get it out there. It's got a lot of unique characteristics. I mean, it kind of has that like shishigashira vibe with a little bit of like Sharp's pygmy mixed in it. I mean, there's so many cool characteristics with this tree. I love the dwarf Japanese maple, man.
So this one's a unique one. There was a gentleman here in Hendersonville, and his name was Robert Jackman. And Robert Jackman, there wasn't a lot of people online back then, like, but this is before the internet days, right? So my dad had to go and make friends that grafted and talk to people. And Robert Jackman was a collector here in Hendersonville in the 90s, and he found this either as a seedling or as a mutation. We don't really know. I think he found it as a seedling, as the story goes, off of Shishigashira. You know, as we're evaluating line cub and some of these new ones, we wonder if it couldn't be a broom as well. So I wasn't around to find that out, but I know this variation came off of Shishigashira. Really unique plant here. Robert Jackman originally introduced us into the trade, got my dad to graft it, didn't get into the trade much because we were just selling at tailgate markets.
Yeah.
So we weren't really selling this one out. And it had the name Roja Busa. So Robert Jackman, Ro-J-O Busa. and the reason that, so Jackman, J-A, R-O-J-A Busa. It's actually still at the J.C. Ralston, that name. I tell them to change all the time. The reason that was so confusing, of course, Spanish for red, Roja. Roja Yetsubusa makes no sense with this beautiful green. Once I got in the nursery trade, I was like, Dad, this is a cool tree. but we've got to get this name correction fixed. This can't go out in the trade as Roja.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, Roja, it's green. That doesn't make any sense. So we went and tracked down Mr. Jackman, and my brother actually went in and talked to him and said, hey, Matt proposes a name change on this one because it's very confusing. What do you think about Jade Dragon? I love it. You know, Jade Dragons are often traded kind of like as this gift of a significance of a time frame. So it's like a birth. Maybe you'd give somebody a Jade Dragon to kind of commemorate that. So this smaller compact tree that's perfect for bonsai kind of fit that Jade Dragon aesthetic, being a more compact tree here. So cleaned up that name a little bit better for the trade there, Jade Dragon. No Roja going on here. Amazing density to this one. It is smaller than things like Kiyohime. It is even much smaller than things like Goshiki Kotohime and those styles, so it stays smaller in those long term. Perfect for bonsai, great for rooted cuttings, great for air layers. These are grafted, but you can always get it in the ground. The very first graft off of this is actually still my parents' landscape, and it's been in the ground over 25 years. That tree's maybe 3.5 feet tall, so it stays really nice and dense.
Yeah, super tight, dense, compact habit. I love that about this. I'm just sitting here looking at this one. I love how it just shoots these little pillars up as it's young, putting those nice vigorous growth out there. But yeah, as it slows down and starts to fill out, man, the density of it just looks so amazing. I love that kind of bonsai-esque feeling that you get on those younger trees. Just when you see that structure and that tight layered habit. I mean, this thing right here, I mean, these are going to fly off the shelf. I know that for a fact. I'm sitting here, you tell me all the time, if I didn't sell Brian a tree, I ain't doing something right. I'm sitting here looking at this like, man, this thing might have to come home with me.
That's a beautiful one, man. Very interesting plant, too. Our first introduction here at MrMaple Nichols Nursery, and actually the reason we call it the Area 51 collection, because back in the day, you know, we were cleaning things up. We're like, Dad, we're going to try to get a name going on this one that makes sense for the trade. We had a couple of big ones of these in a greenhouse probably around 2008. And I went to a garden show, and there were two of them in the greenhouse. One that matches the one out here, the first grafts. And my dad sold it. When we got back, the tree was gone. He said, guys, I sold that big old tree you had for like $70. I'm like, Dad, that was only two of those. So that's how Area 51 came about. That's how we made an Area 51, and we said no one gets in or out of here without clearance. And we took all the new evaluations to Area 51. So this tree kind of gets attributed for creating the Area 51 because we couldn't let any more of them sneak off on us without getting into production.
Yeah, if you guys want to get one of the like OG MrMaple introductions here, man, pick one of these Jade Dragons up today.
All right, guys, next up we've got Taki no Gawa, a favorite amongst japonicum collectors.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, the japonicum world is such an amazing world to kind of explore into. And, you know, Taki no Gawa for me has become what I consider in my mind is like the spring interest japonicum. You know what I'm saying? Like it has some really vibrant kind of these like soft pink colors when it leaves out in the spring. It really gets me excited because, you know, you typically don't think of like a spring interest for japonicums, but Taki no Gawa really does play well into that kind of just that color spectrum, giving you some kind of unique colors for japonicums.
I love this one. It's got a mid-sized leaf, so it's not the largest leaves of all japonicums, but kind of right in the middle. Big round folds to it, so it's distinctly Acer japonicum. Typically in that 8 to 10 foot range in 10 years. Great fall colors. I'll tell you what this one reminds me a lot of. Now, it's a specific selection made for these traits, but it reminds me a lot of what you see in the native habitat in Japan. So I think this one's super cool for that reason. If you get up in the Japanese Alps, if you go up, you know, in some of the areas where more of those Acer japonicums are growing around Nikko, I would say some of the native ones you're seeing in the ground remind me a little bit of this tree. And I think that makes it extra special. It kind of has that woodland appearance to me. I absolutely love it. Great fall colors, reds, yellows, and oranges on it in the fall. Kind of a mid-sized leaf, so it kind of gives you that different, more tropical aesthetic, but not quite the giant leaves you see on some japonicums. Really kind of gives it that mid-sized leaf. It gives it a really nice texture play with a lot of the other Japanese maples in the landscape as well.
Yeah, the japonicums, man, especially when they get some good size, they create such a great presence in the garden, and they provide some shade for some of your like smaller plants, some of your dwarf Japanese maples, or maybe you've got a little bit of a shade garden. This would work great for that. You're not going to lose any colors if you put this more in shade, and you actually kind of enhance the size of the leaf a little bit too when you get it in those shadier locations. So I love to play around with japonicums, and when it comes to like those shade gardens, I think they're a great plant for that.
Grab you some nice looking Taki no Gawas today. All right, guys, we're bringing back one of your favorite platanoides. These are in 2 gallons. They're on standard, so they're grafted a little higher up. This one's grafted about right here, We're bringing back Acer platanoides, Golden Globe.
Yeah, you're seeing this in a little bit different growth habit than we typically with it being up on a standard. The growth habit on this is a nice, tight ball, dense habit. Large leaf too, man, and it kind of comes out in the spring with a little bit of like a salmon pink flush over that, going to those bright yellows, especially the more sun you give it, the more picked up colors you can get from this.
Guys, you're going to love this one. This one's a German introduction with some good density to it. Really unique. I love this one for container or the ground. Really a beautiful plant. Give it a little bit of early morning sun, late day shade. You can kind of get some glowing effect on these globes. Great for containers though too. If you want to get them in a patio planter, kind of let them do their thing. Again, these are grafted on standards, so a little bit more raised up. Give it that little bit more lollipop-like aesthetic. They are going to want to make more of a globe shape, so it's going to round out some. Great spring yellows. Again, this is the later part of the season. Right in the fall, they typically can get a little bit more greened up right now. So you're looking at them at the greenest stage they are. Beautiful plant though. Yellows to oranges in the fall typically. Really love golden globe. Just one of those trees that makes an absolutely amazing specimen in the landscape.
Yeah, I love the platanoides. You know, you get those large, big leaves on it, which really kind of create a different texture in your garden. And I think what's interesting about having these on standards is you can like plant some ground covers underneath that to really kind of companion plants to accent color and shape and texture. You can play around with that a good bit, especially with that large leaf. Kind of gives you a different feel in the garden for sure.
Some awesome looking 2 gallons. These are some good sizes, guys. Grab you one today on Mr. Maple. All right, y'all, this is an oldie but a goodie. You don't see this one many times. I do think they'll sell out just because of its rareness.
Yeah.
We were talking about earlier today on our podcast what makes trees collectible. And sometimes those older trees that disappear, they kind of get lost to the trade a little bit. That's what this one can do a little bit. I don't see it out there as much, so I do think these are going to be quick to go today. We've got Acer palmatum to Tsuri nishiki.
Man, we got some great sizes here, 2 gallon XL sizes here, staked up. These are looking nice, guys. I love to be able to offer some of these bigger sizes. Sometimes, you know, your 1 gallons may not be the right fit for a spot in your garden. You need something with a little bit more presence right away. I think that's what these 2 gallons can provide for you. But this has got a really unique, interesting leaf. We were talking about it earlier, there's not a lot of other things like it. It's kind of a unique, and I think that's why it's an old cultivar that's been around so long.
It's distinguishable for sure, especially as you get an older one of these. There's a really nice specimen of this at the Morris Arboretum. It gets this large fold to it that's kind of elongated. So it has a more Matzo Murray style leaf, but a very large leaf. Almost gives it a lunar lobulum type look, almost gives it a sessilifolium style look to it. Really cool. I mean, it almost looks like little hands all over the whole plant. Very cool plant for that. And the foliage actually gets quite large as it matures. So almost on point a little bit with that Taki and gawa. So really unique there. Really a fun cultivar too for fall color. So this is a classic. I've mostly seen oranges with yellows on this one, but there are some seasons you'll get some bold red going on in it as well. So it lights up that landscape. Very heat tolerant, very durable. Going to work zones 5 through 9. Typically in that 6 to 8 foot range in 10 years.
Yeah, I like how you highlighted the kind of texture differences that this plant can provide within itself. Some of those older leaves are going to be more of that kind of standard palmatum style leaf, but then the newer flush, I've noticed it gets some like pink colors on that, and then the lobes are elongated, like you said. It's going to be kind of like more of that, like almost like linear lobum style. So it's an interesting texture to have 2 different types of leaves, you know, throughout the year on the plant. Really cool Japanese maple, one that I'm not super familiar with, so good to see this come back and available.
So guys, that's our 10 at 10 for today. There's actually another 10 plants hidden in that email. Make sure to sign up for our customer email to find out about the full 20 today. We've got an open house coming up very soon on Labor Day. Make sure to come see us then. Let's check with some little ladies to see about open house.
Yes.
All right, guys, we've got an upcoming open house on Labor Day. That's going to be September 1st. We're going to be open from 8 to 4, so come check us out on that day. You know, a lot of you guys have been talking about the rocks. We're inside the rock studio here with the artists themselves. We got Tinsley and Carolina. Tinsley, tell them a little bit about your rocks.
Okay, so come at open house and check out some rocks.
Yeah. All right, Carolina.
Thanks for watching the MrMaple Show. Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.